To create a custom window or door, you'll need to snap a spline into its opening. Let's say we want to make a custom window right here. Your first thought might be to draw a line and snap it using vertex snap into the opening, like this. The next order of business is to outline the subspline to generate the window frame. Go to the spline level, select the subspline, and outline it. Now something funny is happening. This is occurring because this line was drawn in world space, so that its local XY plane is flat on the ground. Here's the XY plane. Outline is trying to offset the subspline in the XY plane. That's why we're getting this weird behavior. We have an axes alignment problem. So this method isn't going to work. I'll delete it. A better approach is to create a rectangle in AutoGrid mode. Before you draw that rectangle, move the mouse so that the XY plane is parallel to the wall elevation, like this. I'll convert the rectangle into an editable spline. Select the subspline and outline it. Now it works correctly. This can represent the window frame. In other situations, you'll need different techniques. Take a custom shaped opening, for example. It would be difficult to snap a new spline to this opening because of the complex shape. This wall was made from a spline after all, so we can extract the spline that made this opening and use it as the basis of our custom window. I'll go to the spline level and select the subspline. The next thing you might be tempted to do is detach the subspline, making a new object. However, if you do that, it takes the subspline away from the wall, thus sealing up the opening. So that's not going to work either. Undo and check Copy before you detach to make a new object and leave the old one behind, leaving the opening there. I'll go back to Object level so that I can select the new object. It's easiest to do that by selecting the object here by name. I'll select it, and because this object was extracted from the wall elevation, it already has its local XY plane flush with the wall surface. So I should be able to outline it without any problem. And indeed it works. In other situations where you have Booleans, you'll need to extract the spline in a different way. Over here I have a Boolean opening made in this oblique wall. This opening was made from a rectangle, as you can see at the bottom of the stack. The rectangle was given a corner radius value to make it difficult to snap a rectangle to. It has a more complex shape. So ideally, I'd like to extract this rectangle from the Boolean. And here's how you can do it. Go to Boolean in the stack and make sure the right object is selected here. This is the wall, and this is the opening. If you just click Extract Operand, it does the trick, but it instances the operand to the wall. Now if I select the operand and get rid of the extrude modifier, that same thing happens in the wall. So we lose the opening. So that's not going to work either. Undo a few times to go back to where the opening is. So the secret with Booleans is to make a copy before you extract the operand. That makes the object unique. Then you can select that unique object, dump the extrude modifier, and you have the spline that you're looking for. The only thing is that this is some distance away from the opening. I'll just use 3D Snap to put it in the right position. This object was generated with AutoGrid initially when we made the opening. So its local XY plane should be oriented correctly. And indeed it is.